Is it hard to access affordable, healthy food? Then listen carefully. Daryl Addison, an African-American inventor, has patented a process for growing food on demand. He called it Torpedo Pot. Torpedo Pot is a fully automated flower pot that gives you control over your plant's environment. All you do is add soil, seeds, and plants to the flower pot and watch it grow. Yes, Torpedo Pot grows the rest. Visit www.torpedopot.com.
So you remember during the George Floyd Uprising, and there were videos coming out of brothers and sisters noticing these, white supremacists showing up, and they go out there, and remember there were videos of they were up there tagging BLM on things, and then brothers and sisters run up to them and say, hey, well, what are you doing? They said, we ain't asking you to do that. You need to get out of here with that. Or you remember the police officer that was dressed up in all these black clothing, busting the windows out at the AutoZone? You remember that? And his ex-wife is the one that recognized him and dimed him out. Do you remember that? Or do you remember how all of a sudden, all these pallets of bricks was just showing up in different areas of the city? I want you to think about that, because this is things that we have covered. Now, in this story, you had one of these white supremacists, pled guilty on September 30th to a federal riot charge and admitted he traveled to Minnesota after the George Floyd died to sow mayhem. So this white supremacist is named Ivan Harrison Hunter, 24, admitted he traveled from San Antonio area to Minneapolis after George Floyd's death and fired 13 shots from an AK-47 semi-automatic rifle into the Minneapolis Police Department's 3rd Precinct building on May 28, 2020. Now, it said protesters gathered outside the building in the days after George Floyd's May 25th death, and on the night of May 28, protesters threw rocks at the windows of the precinct and set it ablaze. Now, footage taken that night shows Hunter in a skull mask give someone a high five after firing shots and yell, "Justice for George Floyd." As Ivan is a self-proclaimed member of the white supremacist group Boogaloo Boys, a far-right anti-government extremist group. It said members of the movement appeared at Black Lives Matter protests across the country, carrying weapons and wearing Hawaiian shirts and tactical gear. Now, say Boogalooers, as they believe a second civil war known as the Boogaloo is imminent and result in the overthrow of what they believe is a corrupt political system. Now, the Boogaloo Boys are also known to exploit tensions and sow chaos, as in pursuit of further violence, and the term Boogaloo, as it has in some cases been used as an outright call to a race war, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center. Now, they say federal agents identified Hunter as the shooter after spotting him wearing the same skull mask in the Facebook photo. They said, boy, Facebook, y'all love to post y'all dirt on Facebook. Everybody knows that's Fedbook. Y'all idiots. Anyway, so after the protest, Hunter bragged on social media about his actions, saying that he helped the community burn down the police station in Minneapolis. So he just snitched on himself. They say Hunter was the 3rd Boogaloo boy to be charged in connection to the Minneapolis protests. Now, the Boogaloo Boys isn't any kind of support of George Floyd, but they go in there to sow chaos. You remember something else we were pointing out during the George Floyd uprising? How they had more white folks showing up than black folks. And then we were like, man, what's up with this? They don't care nothing about no George Floyd, because they created the system that killed George Floyd. They don't do nothing about that system. They going out there to start some chaos. This is around the time where everybody was locked in on lockdown, right? And so George Floyd, happened at a right time, and it was like a perfect storm at this time period. And you see all these white folks showing up. Now, like, you don't care about us like that. But we know a lot of them was going out there to do dirt, and black folks were catching them doing dirt. I remember I spoke to, the one sister, Dr. Cambone, she told me that, hey, listen, the one thing I don't like about this protest is way too many of them folks out there. And you know good and well they're not genuine when they're coming out there like that. They say when we had our movement, them folks weren't out there like that. They say, no, they say, how is it they showing up more than we are? You see, unless they got something going on. Because in usually what they do, they show up in mass numbers and they kill a movement or they infiltrate a movement. You understand? Like originally when Ferguson and everything, with the original people that got everything started in Ferguson. Then all of a sudden all them folks showed up, these liberals, a lot of them LGBT showed up, and then ended up turning that movement into a LGBT front group, collecting all the money. We know the story of Black Lives Matter. So that's, that's history there, right? If we learned anything, do not let them folks show up talking about, oh, I'm just coming to help. Like Malcolm say, you can help by donating money. That's what you can do. We don't need you out here in anything. Now I say he communicated with other members of the group via Facebook after George Floyd death, right now. He was going to Minneapolis and it was 72 hours out. He said, and a Minnesota-based member posted that he needed a head count. Now, see, listen, they snitch on themselves all on social media. And I told y'all this. This is the reason they allow us to have social media. I'll be honest with you. Because it's easier for them to track you. It's easier for them to monitor. It's easier for them to prosecute you. Because a lot of you who committing crimes, you're admitting it on social media. I mean, like, I saw this one video where prosecutors say they love social media. They say it takes a lot of work away from them or gives them a heads up on a whole lot of things. That's amazing to me that criminals just love to snitch on themselves. I say, an informant also told the FBI that Hunter admitted to shooting at the building and helping set it on fire, and he was charged with participating in a riot in October 2020 and faced a maximum of 5 years in prison. That's not that much time, but the brother that's from Love and Hip Hop got a couple of million in a PPP loan. He got 20 years? That's interesting. He get 20 years for, I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't get in trouble, but he gets 20 years and this dude only gets, maybe facing 5 years after he shot into a police building and helped burn it down, and that's all he get. Just like that other January the 6th coup person, right? They just recently sentenced one of them to 3 months. But once again, the black man they got some PPP money gets over 20 years, and he didn't storm the Capitol, and he didn't shoot into a police building, neither tried to burn one down. Boy, I tell you, it's a law for black folk, and it's a law for white folk, and that just literally set in stone, and ain't nothing gonna really change that at all unless those people get completely out of power. As long as they are in power, they're gonna keep that system going. I'm telling you that they're going to keep that system going. This is why black folks, really need to think about what their next moves are going to be, because things are getting tight, things are getting heavy in this country. Babylon is falling. And a sad part I feel about that is a lot of you probably going to wait till it completely collapse on you before you want to do something. But those of you who's thinking a little ahead, you already got some, plans in motion. You say, hey, I'm going to the continent. Hey, I'm going this country, that country. I'm just kind of seeing what my options are. Because the way these people are, like I said, it's just not even right. It's not right. It's evil. It's against God. Ain't no way a dude that shot into a police building with an AK-47 and burned it down should facing 5 years, but a dude that committed basically white-collar crime, because that's what it is, white-collar crime, and he's 20 years. I'm just saying, man, we need to start looking more into some of these cases, how these dudes are getting sentenced on a federal level, these white boys. But, leave me a comment. Let me know think about the situation in this particular story. Like I said, I don't trust them people. That's why I'm not for all that protesting. I'm not. Because it's ways to make moves. We don't have to go out there and protest and do crap. I told y'all a long time ago, Martin Luther King showed us what to do. But I noticed y'all rather go out there and protest on the street than do what King said to do, because I don't know why doing what King said to do feel like it's harder for you to do that, to not spend your money, to boycott, to hold your money. I mean, you know how quick it'll break them with us not spending money, but that'd be too much like right. Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out the African Diaspora News Channel app in the Google Play and Apple App Store. Living in America as a black person, you recognize there is one set of laws for you and one set of laws for those, especially in the white community. In our book, Passive Aggressive Racism in the System of White Supremacy, I take you through times in my life when I first started noticing white supremacy. We teach you how to recognize it, identify it,
and also counter it in our book. This book is a beginner's course for those that are just starting to wake up and open their eyes to see the system of white supremacy. As a Black American person, you must understand this system, because this system is life or death to you. How you handle it, how you deal with it, it can affect your mental health if you don't understand this system. Pick up our book, Passive Aggressive Racism and the System of White Supremacy, today on Amazon.